Sorry about that. I got a little carried away. I was jamming in my Greek New Testament. You know, this is my fourth one I've worn out. Now, let me set the clock. Okay, because a friend of mine said, "Oh, just a minute. Let me set my watch." Okay. A friend of mine, we were talking, and he describes himself as an atheist, and we're great friends. We fly fish together, we do things together, and we were talking, and he said, I asked him, I said, so okay, teach me about atheism, and he went, okay, and he explained the story, and I said, okay, and I said, would it be fair? I said, can I explain why I believe in God? And I talked, and he said, well, he said yes, yeah, he did, and then after he was like, he said, you should put that on YouTube. And I laughed. I said, pal, that is so far outside my comfort zone that I was like, man, my cat could do a better job at this. My comfort zone, anything after like 415 AD is like, that's modern history for me, and I'm still trying to get my head around it. My comfort zone, oh my goodness. I'm like, how do I describe my comfort zone? Just a minute. It's water, don't get it. Okay, I don't know, my comfort zone. Anyway, so he said, yeah, go for it. So I explained it, and after that he said, you should put that on YouTube. And he said, no, you should. He said, it's a different perspective. So I said, okay, so here we are. Now, I asked him, I said, if you can let me do that, let me ask you some questions. He said, go for it. I said, okay, number one, have you ever been to Vegas? And he said, yeah. He said he had. And I said, good, that's all I need to know. I said, did you win, did you lose? I said, that's top secret, need to know basis. So, I said, if you've been to Vegas, you'll understand my perspective. So, there you are. Let's go. Let's go do it. So, let's imagine a hypothetical casino, a hypothetical roulette wheel, and a hypothetical guy standing next to it. You don't know him from Adam, no pun intended. And the man with the nice silvery vest with the bow tie says, ladies and gentlemen, meine Damen und Herren, Madame, Monsieur, whatever, place your bets. So the hypothetical man standing next to us, he reaches over and he takes a red chip, I don't know what it means, but he puts the red chip down, and then the hypothetical table, what do you call it, table meister or whatever, he spins, and around it goes, and around it goes, and around it goes, and lands right on the number that he put it on. Now, at that point, all I can see how people get hooked up on this. You know, it's like, oh yeah. So I was like, okay, that was good. Now, if I were to be on a hypothetical gambling scene with a hypothetical roulette table, I would have only a hypothetical $1 because my hypothetical wife, wouldn't let me spend more than that on a table. Now, she would be upstairs in the hypothetical king-size room with hypothetical 5,000 channels and picking up and calling a hypothetical room service. That's where she would be. She'd be fine with that. Okay. If I wanted to go out and set $1 on fire, which is illegal, by the way, I'm not saying do that, or a bushel of weed or a shekel, whatever it was. So anyway, so this guy next to me, he's just won. Okay, and he reaches over, he pulls it in, and I'm going, okay, I can see why people get hooked up on that. So, the man with the vest and the bow tie says, ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. And the guy next to me, hypothetical guy, reaches over, takes a blue one, this time puts it down. Number 7, same number. So, okay, I'm going like, what are the odds of this? And I was like, I have some friends who are mathematicians, and my math isn't bad, actually. I'm looking at that, and I'm going, Man with the vest spins the wheel, stops right there on number 7 again. I'm interested, but I'm not putting down my dollar. It's the only dollar I want to get out of this one. So, this guy, he reaches over, takes a blue one, and a blue one, and another blue one, and he puts it right back down on number 7 again. I said, no. I look at him and he goes, you know, this guy's really confident in this. I look over at the guy with the vest. He reaches over, grabs the little hand, and zzz, around he goes. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Number 7 again. Now, that's a little weird, isn't it? I mean, you know, takes his chips, and he's got it like a bag now. I go, wow, I can really see why people get hooked on this. I said, but who is this guy? You know, nobody else is winning. Nobody else in the neighborhood is winning. Just that guy. Man with the silvery vest, bow tie, says, ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. So he reaches over, he takes a blue one, he takes a blue one, and he takes another blue one, and he puts it right there back on the number 7 again. I think this is 4, right? This is 4. Man with his vest, spins it. And the number 7 again. Now that's 4 times. It's an interesting coincidence. So, you know, I'm curious about a lot of stuff. I'm curious about space, how to fix engines. I'm curious about electricity. I'm curious about all kinds of stuff. I've always been that way. So I called the Nevada Gaming Commission, and I got a guy on the phone. I actually got a guy to pick up the phone. And I got him to plug me in with a guy who knew a guy, then he knew a guy, and he clicked me over there. And he got me over to a poor lady who was actually willing to put up with me for about 5 minutes. And I told her, I appreciate you taking my call. I'm dying to ask you this question. And she said, what is it? And I said, okay. I said, I don't know a lot about these games, but I am curious. I did have a couple of friends. I used to have some brothers that, taught me how to throw the dice. But that's another story. So, anyway, I said, let's say the dice rolls a 7, and then it rolls another 7, and then another 7, and then another 7. I said, at what point, according to your rule book, does the house have to remove those dice? Because it's considered for a reasonable person to suspect that there's something going on with the table or with the dice or with the house that is cause for a reasonable person to be suspicious. And she said, as a matter of fact, we have a rule for that. And I said, no kidding, I'm dying to know what it is. Now, it was 20 years ago that I made the phone call, but I'll never forget the conversation. She said, if my memory, now if you work for the Nevada Gaming Commission, I don't have the number right, put it in the notes. It goes, rah, rah, rah. You're going to flame me. So that's okay. I appreciate it. And point being that it is prescribed. There's rules, regulations, and guidelines with the Nevada Gaming Commission, and I believe the number is 4. That if I'm at the table and the number comes as, it's a 7 or a 10 or a 7 and then a 7 and a 7, at 4 times I can raise my hand, and by law they have to remove the dice. In other words, according to the Nevada Gaming Commission, a reasonable person could consider that there's something very suspicious, something funny going on with those dice. There is a rule about it. In other words, so many coincidences in a rule, a reasonable person has the right to ask questions. So that's 4. It's an interesting parallel going on in my head when I had that conversation. Here's our son. Okay, let's put our son over here. Here's our son. We have a very curious son. It's sort of a galactic Volvo. It's not like a big, huge, Zeppelin thing or a big, huge tractor-trailer rig. It's not a Titanic thing. It's actually reasonably small as planets go, but because of that size, it enables to burn and burn and burn and burn. And it's very much like a little Volvo. It just keeps burning and burning and burning and burning. If it were bigger, woo, and burn, it would swell up and turn us into firewood, or smaller, and it wouldn't be big enough for it to go through the cycles that it needs to keep us warm. We have not just a good-sized sun, we have the good-sized sun, and I find that fascinating. Okay, So that's it, right? I'm not putting my money down? No way. No way. But there is a curious thing about our planet, and that the distance from that sun to where we are puts us in a place that astrophysicists and astronomer people who do this sort of thing say we are in a place called the green zone. Now you think about how many numbers are on the roulette wheel. I mean, what is it, 32, 34, 36 in there somewhere? And you think that's a pretty limited number. So if the ball's falling on a 7 and a 7 and a 7, you go, well, I mean, but imagine the surface of the sun and the number of kilometers from there all the way out until you turn around and come back. There's a lot of variables in there. So now we have not only the right sun, but we have the exact distance, not a good distance, a good enough distance or close enough, but we have exactly the distance that enables us to fluctuate in a range so we're not too cold, we're not too hot. Cold, outer space, ambient temperature. It's over, not Mr. Physics, you add in the comment there, but it's over 400 degrees below zero. Go outside our atmosphere, that would be like opening the door and stepping out into Alaska times about 1,000. It's over, 420 or 430 in there degrees below zero. So in other words, it's pretty hostile out there. And we've got that atmosphere. How thick is that atmosphere? What a coincidence. So I'll push that one aside because it's a little bit, got to do some numbers on that one. So here's the sun, perfect size. Here's our distance, perfect size. It's really cool. Perfect space. Here we are. And you go, I'm not going to put my dollar down on that. It's like, just, come on, But there is another very interesting thing about our planet. When our planet goes around and around the sun in its orbit, it wobbles. It wobbles as it goes through. Now, to what degree is it tilted? They're actually, Earth doesn't exactly tilt perfectly on its axis. Here's the sun on its axis, here's the Earth on its axis. But ours is a little bit off. Now, is it 23%? Is it 24? Is it 25? Hey, I'm going to do your homework for you. You do it. The point is, it's a significant amount of wobble, and what that does is it goes around, and it wobbles, and it goes around, and it wobbles, and it enables our Earth to cool. The sun warms it up, and then it turns away from the sun, and it cools down. It warms up, it cools down. It warms up, it cools down. And it's in a relationship with the sun, so that the sun's rays can never strike the Earth perpendicularly 365 degrees out of the year. And what that does, coincidentally, is it enables our sun to warm up just right, and cool down just right, and warm up just right. Now this is getting a little bit out of sync, as you may have heard. That's another one, whether or not you want to invest in that. But my point is, our Earth does warm up, and it does cool, and it does warm up, and it's because it's on a little bit of a tilt. And then you could say, well, that's how all the planets are out there, right? Go have that conversation with Mercury. And when Mercury closes the door on you, then go across the street to Venus and ask Venus about the tilt in her axis. It's going to be a very short conversation. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3. I'm not putting my money down. I'm very skeptical. But there is another funny thing about what's going on our planet. We have tectonic plates. You say, well, but Mercury has tectonic plates. Venus has tectonic plates. Nope. Boom. We have tectonic plates, and one of the things that it does, now everybody knows that volcanoes, boom, earthquakes, whoa. But tectonic plates actually do something. There's all these gases in our atmosphere, and those tectonic plates, they move over, they move under, they move over, they move under, and they help Earth recycle gases that if they continued to build up, our atmosphere would be uninhabitable. Now, there's a couple of key gases there. What is it? Oh, I'm going to do all your homework for you. Without tectonic plates, and without the relationship that they have with each other, we wouldn't be here. Well, that's 4. Okay. Now, I'm not a conservative atheist, all right, who would never gamble away a dollar. But here's a piece of papyrus. That'll have to do. Okay, there's my dollar. Now, wait a minute. I'm going to wait one more time. One more time, and I watch the man put his money down, and he does. The man with the silver suit says, ladies and gentlemen, place your bet. And I watch. I'm going to see how confidently he puts that money down. There it goes. Number 7, 5 times in a row. It's an IOU. It's written on papyrus. You could have guessed that. There it is. The man spins a wheel, spins a wheel, spins a wheel. I'm going to put it on 5. Yep. I'll put it on 5. Now, Mark 3:30. Mustard seed faith. $1. I invested my dollar 40 years ago. And I'm a happy customer. I like this hotel. I like this casino. I am coming back. Now, that's not, my faith, why I believe in God. That's in my prayer life. I'm just going to push that out of the way. That's a whole nother ballgame. Then Scripture. That's a push it away. I say that the number of coincidences after coincidences. Now, if you could say a roulette wheel, if I could say to the casino mat, to the house, I can say, okay, those dice, or that ball has rolled 7 times in a row, landed on the same number. The boss is going to come over and pick that ball up and swap it out. You know why? Because something's fishy. Or at least a reasonable person has the right to suspect that something is fishy. And my belief in God is very much like that. Now, faith and blind faith, all that. But put your comments in the thing. If people are interested, I'll whip out some Greek on you and some classical Armenian. And let's take a look at that. Well, thank you for taking a look. I'm going to go back. Let me check my clock. Yep. I promise you I wouldn't go longer than that. Now that I've taken a spin in the 2020.